Why take one vacation with the family when you could take all of them? With Royal Caribbean, you don't just go to the beach. You visit a private island and race down the tallest water slide in North America. You don't just go for a road trip. You ATV and zip line through the jungle. You don't just go somewhere new. You rappel down waterfalls and discover ancient temples. Because this isn't just any vacation. This is all the vacations. Come seek the Royal Caribbean. Ships Registry, Bahamas.
This episode is brought to you by Pepsi Wild Cherry. Pepsi Wild Cherry is bursting with delicious cherry flavor and a sweet, crisp taste that gives you more to go wild for. Getting wild may look different these days, but whether it's opting for a solo Friday binge watch or a big night out, everyone can indulge in their wild side with Pepsi Wild Cherry. Also available in Zero Sugar. So grab a Pepsi Wild Cherry and get wild.
Each week on the One Hit Thunder podcast, we welcome a special guest to come take a deep dive into a one-hit wonder artist with us. And together, we decide if that artist brought the One Hit Thunder or was nothing more than a one-hit blunder. You can find One Hit Thunder anywhere that you listen to podcasts, so hit that subscribe button and join in on the fun each week.
There's a party each and every year on Christmas Eve, where the fun and cocktail shrimp don't seem to end. Clark and Ralphie taking turns on the TV screen, laughing, singing, yelling with all of our friends. Well, it's Christmas, and everybody's gonna spread the holiday cheer.
Hey, Dylan.
Hey, Matt.
Ba-na-na-na-na-na, today's your birthday. Ba-na-na-na-na-na-na-na.
Yes. Yesterday, April 10th, was in fact my birthday, dude.
Ba-na-na-na-na-na, today's your birthday. No, so
Big
yeah,
30.
it's your birthday, the big
Yeah.
30. I told you this on Facebook. I felt like my life didn't actually start to get good until 30.
Yeah.
I have a very strong opinion, which is like, as a teenager, you're not a human being just yet. Like, you are still just like a mixture of hormones and emotions that isn't like fully formed. And like, your 20s also kind of suck because you're like caught in this weird period of your life where it's like you still feel like you're a kid, but the world is telling you you're an adult, and you're still like holding on to like kid emotions and thoughts and frustrations, and like things like wanting to fit in still kind of matter a little bit in the early half of the 20s.
Yeah.
And then
for
like
sure.
the later half of the 20s, you're just getting sideswiped by all the adult shit that's starting to really like roll in. So by 30, you're like, I understand the adult shit that's been thrown at me for the most part. Like, you're still never going to understand it. I'm baffled by things on a daily basis that I feel like
Man,
I should know, but 30s are so much better. You can just live life.
and I am not bitter about anything at all, but as somebody who has been through like marriage, divorce, refinanced their house, I spent the better part of early 2020 or the end of 2020 in and out of the hospital for surgery. I really hope my 30s end up better than
No, you
than
got
the
a
way
lot.
my
Look, you
20s
got all the.
went.
Listen, this is why.
Again, I'm not bitter. I don't want anybody to think
No,
I'm bitter. I would never say anything.
And I
rude
don't
or
think you
anything.
are bitter, but like,
No.
I feel like you are a prime example. And there are people who've been able to make this work.
Yeah.
Don't get married in your early 20s. Like, you don't know who
No.
you are. The person you're marrying doesn't know who you are. You're still in the
true.
middle of changing as people. Like, I feel like
Very true.
when I hit 30, I finally knew who I was, and I
Yeah.
felt comfortable with who I was. That was I
Yeah.
kind of always knew who I was, but I fought against it throughout most of my 20s. Then the 30s, I
get
just
that.
fully embraced everything.
Yeah, and as you should, Matt.
Yeah.
You're a wonderful person. So what we're talking about today, and for all you people that listen to this as a wrestling podcast, don't worry.
We'll get there.
We'll get to Cody
We'll get
Rhodes.
there.
As much as Matt is like, I just don't fucking care. We're gonna talk about. You know what? Fuck it. We're gonna do this now.
Okay.
We're gonna do this right.
Let's get this
now.
out of the way, because here's the thing.
Okay.
I've been thinking about this for a really long time.
Me too.
Because well, no, I've been thinking about it because of you, because you post about it constantly. And I'm just like, who the fuck cares? It's kind of like, at the end of the day, Dylan, the way I take it is, this is kind of how I feel post the Oscars, where all this shit was about like two millionaires having a tiffy in the middle of an award show for 30 seconds. Is like, they're rich as fuck. I don't care. They don't give a shit about me. Why am I so invested in this?
Because I felt like he cared, man. I felt like he cared.
Now, I haven't watched Raw yet.
This motherfucker cut on starting a revolution.
Well, I mean, he did start a revolution, and then he left that revolution.
But then he said, fuck that revolution. I'm going back. This man has gone on record of saying that Sting is his favorite wrestler of all time. And now he's saying Triple H is his favorite wrestler of all time. He smashed the fucking throne on pay-per-view. He said that talking about the other company would be lazy if he were to go on air and talk about the other company. That's what you did, dude. Well, you can't sit there and complain about not winning the big one when you literally booked yourself away from winning the big one in AEW. And don't sit there and say, I wrestled everybody I wanted to in AEW. Listen, you didn't wrestle Punk. You didn't wrestle Brian. You didn't wrestle Kenny in AEW. You know what your biggest feuds were in AEW? QT fucking Marshall.
All right, so
QT Marshall. And you know what? Hold on, I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. If the whole thing is like, because one of the rumors is that he left because he didn't want to continue getting booed and he didn't want to turn heel. So here's how you do that. Maybe don't come back the week after Malachi kicks your head off. Like maybe take a few months off and then come back. Listen, I can't badmouth the guy because, like you just said, like, these people don't give a shit. It's a business. I mean, it's a business. But everything he says it's not genuine. It's not genuine. I think Cody Rhodes is the ultimate heel. And until he plays into that, I just can't take anything he says seriously.
So I do know, look, the most I get out of wrestling beyond watching the pay-per-views for both companies is that I watch Coldaholic every day and get my news from there.
Yeah.
And they did talk about the contract with WWE. And yes. I think that one of the things that's in that contract that is very, very telling is that he is now executive producer on any documentaries about his dad, which I think that's important. I think that's very important to him.
I get it.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like that I think is an aspect of something that's crucial. And I do think at the end of the day, he's doing what's best for Cody and his family. I also will say that, like, look, I hang out on Twitter when I'm watching WrestleMania. That's just my thing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I want to see what people are tweeting. Because, spoiler alert, the only reason I watch pay-per-views and award shows is because it's the one time that Twitter's not a giant sewage pit and is actually filled with really quick-witted, funny people for a couple hours.
Twitter rules. And I think I've gone on record on saying that on this podcast is it's my favorite social media site, because the thing about Twitter is it's like, it is a wasteland. Like, it is Mad Max. It is Road Warrior on Twitter.
Yeah, I just don't need to be in the wasteland. I'm beyond the wasteland at this point.
I will scroll through Twitter. You will see some crazy shit on Twitter. Not all of it good. And I don't want to say that, oh, I love Twitter because it's great. It's not. It's mostly a cesspool. But I love Twitter and I love wrestling Twitter. And I think a lot of like wrestling Twitter is people trolling one another. And I think there are certain people that do take wrestling Twitter too seriously. This is a very niche group that we're discussing right now.
For sure. But I guess what my point that I was going to say is that when I was on Twitter, I did see, you do still see AEW people who are live tweeting during WrestleMania. And
yeah.
it's not like, for the most part, it's not hate. You know what I mean?
No.
Because I think that at the end of the day, it's like, I think that people fall into two buckets sometimes with the AEW WWE thing. And I know
Okay.
that for my bucket, it's more like, this thing that I love has hurt me a lot lately, but
Yeah.
I still want it to be the thing that I always loved. Like
Yeah.
I want it to get better. And like, that's why I do, like, totally being absolutely sincere. I think that this was one of the best WrestleManias I've watched in a long time. I had fun. And that's all I can ever ask for, right? You know what I mean? And I think that that's the same thing with the people who are in AEW, is like, they want it to be fun to watch too. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day.
No. And I
didn't see,
totally.
and I was just gonna say, I didn't see, from the stuff that I saw during WrestleMania, and then I like kind of popped in and out of Twitter to kind of see what was happening on Raw, because I don't have cable, so I can't watch it live.
Yeah.
But it seemed like people, even on the AEW side, were speaking very kindly about Cody. I didn't see a lot of bad blood, and that's why I do have to think, because, I mean, look, the guy is a fucking carny at this point, but Bruce Pritchard's podcast does shine a lot of light sometimes on the fact that you
can't listen to it anymore.
I pretty much skip most of them too. But he does do a good job of shining a light on the fact that, like, just because like David Meltzer or Wade Keller says that this is the reason something's happening, that isn't always exactly the reason why.
Yeah, but
why something's happening.
Here's my problem now, is like, you have people that are like shitting on Meltzer for, I mean, this motherfucker's been doing this shit for decades now.
Yeah.
Like, running these dirt sheets for decades. He's usually right. Like, he's usually not wrong. So like, that's my biggest issue with people hating on the guy, is he just reports shit that he hears. And I mean,
no,
he's
for
not
sure.
wrong.
And I
that's my
don't think
thing
he's
with that.
I don't think he's ever making up shit. I would never
No.
say that. But I do think that, like, you know, I'm the same way. If you could be like the nicest person on the planet, but if I feel personally burned by you, and then immediately thereafter someone's like, "Hey, do you have any opinions on this person?" I'll be like, "He's a fucker," and you stay away from him. You know
And that's why we're talking about Cody Rhodes right now.
Yeah.
I feel personally burned. No. Here's my thing. Specifically, jokes aside, I feel like, and this goes for the other man that was in that match, I wish Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes would just shut the fuck up.
Yes.
Just shut the fuck up. Just do what you're there to do, work, put on a great match, and shut the fuck up. There's no reason Seth Rollins had to yell, "Welcome back to the big leagues." Because you've got other people in the same company going, "Oh, they're not our competition."
Yeah.
They're not our competition. And then you've got Cody like, "Yeah, I would never badmouth them." Well, you got the other guy in your match badmouthing them.
Yeah.
So like, that's my thing.
Why take one vacation with the family when you could take all of them? With Royal Caribbean, you don't just go to the beach. You visit a private island and race down the tallest water slide in North America. You don't just go for a road trip. You ATV and zip line through the jungle. You don't just go somewhere new. You rappel down waterfalls and discover ancient temples. Because this isn't just any vacation. This is all the vacations. Come seek the Royal Caribbean. Ships Registry, Bahamas.
And I'm fine if
I
they
would-
want to throw,
I would-
if they
you
want
know
to throw
what,
shots.
though?
That's fine too. But like, don't sit there and say we're above this and then still do it.
But I think that that's just wrestling. That's the same as, like, to me, Seth Rollins saying "Welcome back to the big time, bitch," is no different. And actually, this was probably funnier. But in NXT, when Baron Corbin said, like, "Go back to Ring of Honor," to a person who had never wrestled in Ring of Honor. Like, you know,
I mean, that is funny. That is funny. But at the same time, nobody on NXT was like, "Well, we're not in competition with them."
that's true.
I mean, at that point. So I think, I do I want to enjoy it? Yes. Do I find everything that Cody has said at this point disingenuous? Also, yes.
So, I haven't watched his Raw promo, but I was told that it's very like I've heard a lot of people say it's one of the most beautiful promos that they've heard someone
So
give in a long time.
Here's the thing. I was told the same thing. I watched it. Amazing. It's a great promo. It's the same fucking promos he's been cutting in AEW. He gets sad. He does that little sad like
I miss my dad.
Yep, and that's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. So they haven't changed anything, which is good. You shouldn't change anything with Cody. It works, or it did work at a time. I do think you should change the theme that's like ripping on WWE. Like that's what that whole theme is about. If you look at the lyrics of that song.
But I agree with that decision as well. Man, this is so far off from Christmas conversation.
Yeah, I know.
But
I'm so sorry.
I'll just say I think that was the right decision in the sense of I remember hearing a couple reports that a lot of people backstage basically had to talk to Vince and be like, if we don't bring in Cody exactly how he is in AEW, then we are missing an opportunity for like the shots to be fired. You know what I mean? Like it's like it's like that's just good business at that point.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think you keep Cody the way he is. I would adjust the theme, even though that theme is one of my favorite themes, like in the past decade. I do love that song. Edge's new theme is awesome too. That Alter Bridge song, and I never thought I'd say that.
Yeah,
but it's a great jam. So final thoughts on WrestleMania. I enjoyed WrestleMania. Night 1 ruled. Night 2 left a little bit for me to be desired.
I mean, Night 2 may not have been as great as Night 1, but Night 2 had the greatest match I have ever watched in my entire life.
Was it Johnny Knoxville?
That Johnny Knoxville match was fucking real. Like that's a match.
Here's another thing that I'm very upset about, and I love that match, but it's the people that are like it's the tribalists.
Yeah,
and I know I'm coming across as that as well, but I watch both. I prefer AEW because I feel bad supporting WWE in certain instances.
Yeah, no, they're not very nice people.
They're not good people. But it's the people that are like, oh, AEW works with DDT. That's not real wrestling. That's joke wrestling. And then they're like, that Johnny Knoxville Sami Zayn match was fucking amazing. So it's like I don't know. It's hard for me to. That's the bad part of wrestling Twitter.
That's the stay away from wrestling Twitter side of life, where it's like I only hop in there on WrestleMania. I don't have to care. I have no investment. I stay off Reddit. I stay off all of it.
It's funny because that night had one of the best matches, but it also had the single-handedly the worst stunner we've ever seen.
But you know what? The more that I've watched that stunner, the better it is to me, because it is atrocious. It is the horror movie night pick of stunners. Like
you need to watch the so they did like a video, like a recap of WrestleMania. Props. I will never talk bad about WWE's editors because they made that shit look good. Yeah. They really did. I am not kidding. I will say by the time that night ended with Brock and Roman, I believe I texted you and I said, unless it's shenanigans, I do not see Cody beating either one of these individuals. Maybe like a cash in. We talked about Money in the Bank a little bit, but I do not see Cody beating either one of them.
I genuinely think that, to me, it's like I don't even factor that into the conversation because I'm convinced that Roman is carrying that belt until next year's Raw after Mania, which I actually think is a good idea as long as they're bringing in new blood for him to wrestle a little bit.
Well, he's going to wrestle Dwayne, right?
Next year? That's why I think that they're building to that, like him versus The Rock for next year's
I thought
Mania.
He was going to come out at the after.
The only thing I'll say about that side of things too is I'm not sure if you caught this news video because God, they dropped like 15 news videos on Cultaholic over the weekend.
Yeah, they did.
Did you watch the video about how Roman almost left the company in 2020?
Yeah.
And my appreciation for Roman kind of went up even more. I mean, it's also, you could look at it as like hey, he's entitled and he gets to do something that a lot of other wrestlers don't have the chance to do. But the fact that he basically was like, yo, you either let me be a heel and do this angle that I want to do, or I'm going to go. And also just being like, and your writers aren't allowed to touch it. Like, yep. Like, dude, it's like, that's dope. That's awesome.
The thing is that this bloodline angle should have started the night after he beat Taker.
Yeah, it really, and it felt like it was going to. When
This
he
is
just
my
stood in the
yard
ring.
now.
Yeah,
Like,
this is my yard
holy
now.
shit.
Boom, that should have been it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think he had to build himself up to the point where he had done so much for Vince that he could hold Vince accountable and be like, yo, dude, I'm gonna fucking bounce unless you let me do this heel run. And like, you know, they were saying on the Codeaholic video, like, he's gonna be heel until the crowd naturally starts cheering him as a babyface. And
I mean, they were kind of doing it at Mania.
Yeah.
I mean, and people have started, especially because they don't want to see Brock anymore. And it's not, I don't even think it's not seeing Brock anymore. I think it's seeing Brock pop up and fuck off for like
for sure
months on it.
All right,
So
let's get
honestly,
into the actual
hold on,
topic.
because that's where I'm going, because I think this also encompasses this conversation of birthday versus Christmas. Like, which one are we more or am I more excited for, or should we be more excited for? I think it's obviously Christmas, because guess what I want to talk about right now? It's not my fucking birthday.
Yeah, well,
like in December, I want to talk about Christmas nonstop. Right now, I have no desire to talk about my birthday.
I think that that's fair. And I guess that was the question I was going to ask, is that there are people who it's like, oh, it's my birthday month, and they get like real fucking excited and wild about their birthday. And like, I used to love my birthday, and now I've had like 3 or 4 years where I didn't even celebrate it. Like, I just like popped over my parents' house and we had like a quick slice of cake, sang a song, and then I went home with no presents. Like Christmas.
You don't give presents.
Yeah, like birthday has become so like non-existent to me. Now I'm closer to 40 than I am 30, so I'm sure that when that 40th birthday comes, it'll be real exciting and it'll be like a big deal.
Yeah.
But then it's like, I feel like once you hit 30, from 30 beyond, it's like, unless it's one of the big 10-year marks, like, it's kind of just a day. You know, you get a couple gifts and that's it.
I mean, I feel like after 21, I didn't really celebrate a lot. It kind of turned into what you were saying. Like, I'd go see my family, and I'm like, we might do gifts, we might not. I mean, it kind of depended on the year. We probably have dinner or something. But I was actually just talking about that the other day. The people that turn this into like a birthday month. And it's like, what the fuck, dude? Like,
yeah,
you don't get a whole month, man. Everybody has a birthday.
Yeah, no, I agree, and you don't get that.
And I've got friends in like that are involved with friends in low places. Yes, friends that are involved with like musicians and stuff, and will like book a venue to throw their own birthday party, and that shit is wild to me.
Yeah, no,
who throws, dude? Yeah, guys, everybody's gonna get together and we're gonna celebrate me.
Yeah.
Throwing your own birthday party after like maybe like 10 years old just feels
wild,
shitty.
Yeah, that's a wild move,
right?
Yeah, and I think that's valid. I look, I'm glad that we talked about the Roadster for a little bit because you know, this is pretty much the end of our conversation about
20 minutes about Cody Rhodes, and then we're like, what do you think? Birthday versus Christmas? Christmas. All right, that ends this episode.
You know what? I really didn't think this out. This topic is great if you're doing a call-in show. Like, all right, call in.
Well,
sound off.
You would call Teddy into the room and be like, hey, Christmas or birthday? I mean, my thing is like, it kind of goes back to the Thanksgiving thing where people are like, oh, you skip Thanksgiving? I'm like, no, Thanksgiving's a day.
Yeah, you don't need the whole month of November for it. Yeah,
exactly.
But you know what? Here's the flip side.
Okay, all right. Go ahead. Play devil's advocate.
We're both hypocrites here because fucking Halloween is the month of October for both of us.
But that can still be like, stores are decorated for Halloween. Places
that
are decorated
true.
for
My mom's
Halloween.
the only person I know who has Thanksgiving decorations.
My mom has Thanksgiving decorations
ridiculous.
Too. And I think it's more of a fall decoration than it is like
my mom's are
straight up Thanksgiving decorations.
Pilgrims, Native Americans, and turkeys.
like our Thanksgiving decorations are like a lot of browns and
like a leaf or something. I get
wreaths and shit like that. But
no, not at the Kelly household.
Straight up pilgrims and shit.
Yeah, no, my mom goes all. If she could find 3 giant boats to set up in the front lawn for Columbus Day, she fucking would. She's got decorations for every holiday. It's insane.
I mean, I just like I
don't
will
have the time
argue
or energy.
that Halloween. Yes, I would argue that Halloween is a season. Christmas is a season to me. Thanksgiving is a day, and your birthday, it's literally in the fucking name.
Yeah.
Birthday. So if you're out there and you're arguing that you should get presents for the full month, go you, because you should always argue for more presents. But I will say, dude, it's only one day. You only get a day.
100%.
I can't afford to buy you presents for a month or take you places for a month.
Well,
I'll take you places for a day.
well, in case I didn't tell you, happy birthday, Dylan.
Oh, thank you, Matt. Love you, buddy.
Oh, whoa, oh, now we won't stop till the big ball drops on New Year's. Happy holly, have a great holly, have a merry happy holiday.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network. You're listening to the Geekscape Network.